Hello everybody and welcome to this new video series I'm starting today. I'm just calling it The News. An alternative title that I had for it is 5 news items that Joaquin liked during the week. It's kind of long, not very strong. Let me know in the comments what you think of both, or if you have better ideas, which you probably have. So let's get right into the news. SpaceX is back. Around November of last year, SpaceX had big troubles with an explosion of one of their rockets. Basically, the rocket was on a launch pad and it blew up. No one was hurt back then, but there was a big investigation that needed to be done. So just recently they finished that investigation and they discovered the reason. There is a link on the video description if you want to look at more details on what happened and what are the technical reasons behind it, or as much as they want to tell us. But the basic gist is that they had some trouble with the fueling system. But that's not the big deal of this news today. This week they finally launched their first rocket after that incident, and it went flawless. They launched the rocket, they sent it up to space, they released the payload, which was 10 communications satellites that Iridium built, and the rocket came back and it landed perfectly on the barge in the middle of the ocean. They recently actually showed an image from the barge of the rocket landing, and it's a pretty amazing picture. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend that you go to their Flickr account and download it, because it's actually free for everyone to get. So yeah, the mission went perfect, and now SpaceX is back with very high goals this year. Last year they planned to do 18 launches, and because of this accident they only were able to do 8. So they were in pretty big trouble there. This year they're planning on doing 20, which is pretty amazing considering the problems they had last year. So hopefully it goes well. One of the launches, which is pretty interesting, is the launch of what they call the Dragon 2 spacecraft, which is basically a human-ready capsule that can be used to send people to space, which is pretty amazing. It's the first time they're gonna do it. This time it's not gonna have people inside, they're just gonna send it up to space to test all the systems, make sure it works before actually sending people. Don't want people to get hurt. So hopefully this year it's a lot better for SpaceX. I think they're doing cool stuff. Going to space is a big goal of humanity, so Godspeed. Alright, news item number 2, Meld. If you've been a subscriber to this channel for a while, you know that XCOM is one of the main contents in this channel. And on the previous iteration of this game, called XCOM Enemy Within, there was this alien substance that basically allowed the XCOM project to inject into their soldiers and make them more powerful, heal faster, and lots of crazy stuff. But these nanomachines were what enabled that.
So, what is it, Doctor?
Well, it seems like some scientists from Columbia University in New York have actually been able to create something similar. The basic idea of it is that they created nanomachines that are biocompatible, which means that you can inject them into your body and your body won't reject them, which is a very basic, important step into enabling these kind of things. The other amazing discovery that they were able to do is that they were able to have a way to microcontrol their position of these machines, which enables very precise actuation of parts, which basically they said would enable like very precise delivery of medicine. For example, medical applications is one of the examples they gave. If they want more examples of what can be done, then they should play XCOM.
Meld.
And talking about small things, at CES, ZOTAC presented their new mini computer. It's called the Magnus EN1070K. It's on roughly 8 by 8 inches, which is pretty interesting. It's very small. But don't be fooled by the size, because it packs quite a punch. It has an i5-7500T, which is a 2.7 GHz with 3.3 turbo boost. Not the greatest CPU, but it's actually not too bad either. And it also contains an NVIDIA GeForce 1070, which is a pretty powerful video card. It should be able to do VR. The CPU is right at the edge of what's the minimum requirement, but the GPU is definitely there. And you could expect it to cost around $1,500. That's the price of the previous version of this machine. It has two drives. It can have two drives in it, one 2.5-inch SSD or drive, and an M2 drive, which is a lot actually for such a small computer. And you can also put up to 32 gigs of RAM in it. So it is a pretty interesting computer. Like I said, not the most powerful ever, but it's pretty portable. So that would be great for like LAN parties and stuff like that, or take it to a friend's house. Just don't let it get stolen because it's pretty small, so you might lose it. Yeah, don't. If $1,500 is not within your gaming budget, then maybe you should consider the new console by Nintendo. It's called the Nintendo Switch, and it was just announced this week. There was a lot of excitement around it, which actually meant that it actually sold out, even though it costs $300, which was a lot more than people expected. So that's actually very interesting. Obviously, Nintendo is very good at selling these consoles to their fans, so the first batch it was expected to actually sell out very fast. So not everything was great news with this console announcement. So the first one was that the game collection that it's gonna launch with, it's not the best. They are launching with only 5 games, which is not really great, and out of those only 2 seem to be like mass market interest. One of them is The Legend of Zelda, which is an amazing game. It looks amazing and it's probably gonna sell a lot. The other one is called Super Bomberman, which is actually new and it should be very fun, but it's kind of sad that they weren't able to get more people behind the launch games. They're gonna be coming out with more games as the year progresses, but it's kind of sad not to launch with a good collection. The other 2 things that were not very great about this launch were the controllers. The 2 controllers that the console comes with are called Joy-Cons, and the console comes with actually just 2. If you want more, you're gonna have to pay $80 for each pair, which is steep actually, because PS4 and Xbox game controllers are around $50, which is reasonable for the kind of gaming you do. But the Switch main selling point is that you're supposed to be able to play on local multiplayer with multiple people around you. So that's gonna be very steep if you wanna buy 3 more pairs of these controllers. And the last bit of bad news was that there is a grip accessory for this console which will allow you to have better handling of your controller while you play, which is nice. And the cool thing about this grip is that you can put an USB cable in there and charge your controllers as you play, which is pretty cool. Problem is though that the one that's coming inside the box on launch day, it's not one of those. It's just a piece of plastic, and that sucks because people want to charge their controllers when they're using them if possible, right? Because if you're meant to be able to take this console, take it out and go on the go play while you're out and about, then it's gonna suck if you leave and your controllers are not charged. So that's just gonna be another $30 that you're gonna have to spend on that stuff. So the whole presentation was pretty weird. They had this gimmick of switch. They did this and switched to other people. So the only thing I can say is switch to bomber mode. Okay, and to close the news for this week, let's take a look at this very cool MacPro concept art thing object. It was designed by Pascal Eggert. The Trashcan MacPro has been a source of a lot of groaning in the Apple community lately because it hasn't been updated for 1100 years. 1100 days. Which is around 3 years, which is pretty bad, especially considering that it's still being sold at the original price. So Apple never lowers their prices during the lifetime of a product. So that sucks a lot. So if there's something that happens a lot in the Apple community, in the Apple enthusiast community, is that either they follow rumors or they create, designers create very cool prototypes of products of what Apple should do or how a product they think it should look in the future. And this design is actually pretty cool because it makes sense. He went through some feedback on Reddit, but he got a pretty cool product here. So follow this because it's actually pretty cool. So I'm gonna read. It has 2 M.2 drives, up to 4 terabytes of super ultra fast storage. It's gonna have 4 2.5 drive bays, so up to 16 terabytes of data there. It will have space for 2 full-size desktop grade GPUs. So he showed them actually with an NVIDIA GTX 1080 in there. So high-end graphics cards. And it has a ton of ports in it. It has Thunderbolt 2, Thunderbolt 3, USB 3, 2 Ethernet ports, and 2 HDMI ports. So it's gonna be like a powerhouse of connectivity. And it actually comes with enough storage space and replaceable GPUs, which is actually one of the biggest complaints about the current model, which is, well, the trash can. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's actually it looks like a trash can. Oh, and it also has a handle, which is actually pretty cool because that's another thing that people have missed from the old MacPros, which had 2 handles so you could carry it around. So this one's gonna have one nice handle in there. The only problem I see with this design is that if Apple makes something like this, it's gonna cost $1 trillion. It's gonna be impossible to buy because those things are expensive. So that's the news for the week. I hope you enjoyed the news articles I chose. Let me know in the comments which one you found the most interesting, and let me know in the comments if I missed anything. And if you have anything for next week, let me know also in the comments. I want to hear from you, and I want your help in getting these articles for next week. My plan is to do this every week, so hit like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.